Hello out there, Mama Trip with another video. I thought since I did the how to or my advice for starting your Louis Vuitton collection with SLGs, I thought, what if you want to start it with a bag? What bag would I start it with? And so I thought about that, and I thought about the first bag that I ever bought from Louis Vuitton. It was the first, I guess, like luxury designer bag that I ever purchased from any house. And it's this one. I still have it, the croissant in the PM size, in the monogram canvas. And I thought about how I started off my Louis Vuitton collection completely with an SLG. So I bought this one and the Pochette accessoire in the same monogram at the same time. And then later, when I was able to afford it, I bought this bag. And I thought about why did I purchase these? Well, I purchased these because literally back then, like 15-17 years ago, this kind of was a bag. I did carry this as my purse going out with my phone. There was no like real card holder design at the time, so it'd be like the phone, the like Nokia in here, or whatever phone you had, and then your ID and a credit card and some cash and maybe like a lipstick and a mascara. And that's what I would have, and I would this is it, this was it, this is what I carried. And so when I was able to buy an actual, I guess, like purse, then I moved on to this one, because it's slightly larger and more purse-like. And so this is what I carried after that. And so at the time, this is what suit me and what fit my lifestyle and my needs. And so these are the kinds of things that I gravitated towards. But the other truth is that this is what I could afford, right? I wasn't going to start off my luxury collection with that one, like a jumbo or a Chanel classic flap, even though 15-17 years ago they were less than half the price of what they are now, because that's not what I could afford. Can you imagine purchasing this for what a Tory Burch bag now costs? So it's like the same. It's the same. I think this is like $490, I think, is what I purchased this for. I was trying to find the original receipt, but I'm pretty sure it was under $500 when I initially purchased this bag. So that's like the real honest truth, right? Why did I go to Louis Vuitton for my first luxury bag purchase? Because it was what I could afford. So I looked at the house, and then based on the house, I looked at what suit me. So that's how I decided on my first luxury purchases. I looked at what I could afford and then what I could use. And so kind of based on that, you can no longer purchase. This cost more today than what I bought this for. So when we're talking about pricing and what you can afford, it's very different today, I think. I know it's very, very different today. So the game is a little bit different. So if you are saving up, of course, if price is always going to be an issue. So if your first item is an SLG because that's what you can afford, there's absolutely no shame in that, right? I'm guessing 95% of us started out that way because of that reason. And they're beautiful, they're wonderful. I still remember how it felt to purchase it. It doesn't diminish that at all. But if you don't actually want an SLG and you want a bag from the house, then I would say don't settle for the SLG. If you can wait, if you can save up, and you can, go for this bigger splurge on the bag, and at this point, some of the SLGs versus the bags is not really that much bigger of a splurge, then I would say try to hold out for the bag, because I think a lot of us also have been in this boat where you have purchased several SLGs and it was because of the price, right? You couldn't maybe afford the bag right now, or the bag price point was too high, so you kind of settled to buy multiple SLGs. But then when you look back at it, you could have bought the bag if you waited and didn't purchase those SLGs. So yeah, if you're looking for a bag now, this is kind of my number one, I think, bag that I would kind of advise myself to look into, to purchase as my very first Louis Vuitton bag purchase. If I were looking at the house today with the price point, the functionality, my life now, that's what I would do. So without further ado, can I introduce you to, I mean, you've been introduced to this bag. Can I reacquaint you with the Speedy? Yes. So this was not my first Speedy. Actually, my very first Speedy was this one. This is a Speedy B30 in the Tahitian print. And I actually was a not Speedy believer in the beginning. I didn't think that the Speedy was even cute. I didn't think it was functional for my life. I was not a believer, even though this is a classic piece from the Louis Vuitton house. This is such a beloved, classic fan favorite. Comes in so many designs and patterns. I mean, the OG 3 canvas, right? The Damier Azur, the Damier Ebene, and I don't have a monogram one. Of course, the classic monogram. And for some reason, I didn't gravitate towards it. But I love this print, and I'm not a tote person, so I didn't want the Neverfull, so this is what I purchased, and oh my god, I love it. But I didn't love it because it's a Speedy. I didn't love the Speedy until I purchased the 25 in the Damier Ebene. So why did I buy this bag? I was in Paris, and I was at a Louis Vuitton boutique, and they had this in stock. And the CA at the time that I had in France was just like heavily pushing this bag, like, oh, it's so hard to get these days, oh, it's so rare, you don't have one, oh my gosh, definitely get this one, it's so carefree, because it doesn't have any of the vachetta leather on it, it's like indestructible, and you can carry, fit so much stuff. He just basically like sold me on it. I wasn't looking for this bag at all, and he sold me on it, and I purchased it, and then it sat on my shelf. Look at that beautiful red lining. It sat on my shelf for, I don't know, maybe a year or two actually, before I busted it out and used it for the first time. And then I could tell you, I never looked back. So what do I like about this? He was right. I mean, it's so carefree. I mean, it's so well made. It's so well structured. The canvas is so thick, and yet it's so like pliable and smushy. I don't mind that it loses shape, and gets like kind of smushy look in it. I just think it gives it character. It doesn't look the same all the time. I like that it has a double zipper. Totally with everyone out there, like, come on, extend the zipper on all of them. It'd be so nice. I like that it's so roomy. So I think people who are looking at totes, this is a bag that you can also look at, because it is so roomy. You can fit so much. Like if you go up to the 30, you can fit so much. The 35, I think, is starting to get heavier, but I would consider, at least a 30 if you're a big tote lover. And, you can use this top handle. You can carry it kind of like a tote. If you get the B, you can get the crossbody strap. And then the crossbody strap is 2 pieces. Or actually, I guess it's 3 pieces. So you can shorten it so that it's just kind of like a shoulder bag style if you wanted to, or you can full on crossbody it, or you can remove it and you can just carry it top handle so it looks like the original, not bandoulier. But this is just such a great bag, and especially like for a new mom whose kid chews everything because she's teething massively and her fingers are always sticky with peanut butter and drool and whatever she's touched, and like, I don't have to worry about this. She has literally chewed on these handles, and they look beautiful. She's chewed on almost everything that I own. This has fared very, very well. I have spilled puffs in here. I have spilled entire things of water. And I don't, it's just perfect. It's just, there's not a scratch on her. And I would just, really strongly suggest considering this bag as your first foray into the Louis Vuitton world. Now, if I was not considering me having the little trip, I want to argue that the Speedy 20 is like the perfect bag. If you're in your life somewhere between, the stage of this and the stage of this guy, this is the perfect bag. It's not too big. It looks adorable when carried just as top handle. Can go to day to night. It has the extended zip. It fits so much more than you think it's going to. I mean, it so easily fits in here. You can fit a full-size wallet, and it's just gorgeous, and it's not too big, not too small. This is the Goldilocks. This is the Goldilocks of the Speedy family. And so if you're, looking for your first Louis Vuitton purchase, and you can afford and are willing to save up to do a bag instead of an SLG, I suggest looking at the Speedy, and I would highly, highly recommend looking at the Speedy B20. Now, the size is going to be dependent on what you need it for, right? The size is going to be dependent on what you need it for. So the 20 and the 25, I mean, it's a huge size difference. And the 20 versus the 30, I mean, come on, I can't even fit it in the in the frame together, right? So if when I don't kind of need to be out with little trip, or it's going to be a short trip, this is the one that I carry. Or my keep all extra small, which is Speedy like, but it's technically not a Speedy. When I'm with her, this is what I carry, and it carries everything that I need, and I will show off that in kind of like a mom bag review. And then I'm even so into Speedies now that I bought a limited edition one. So I do have the denim one, and I love it. And she has also, muck this up, and it stays clean. This is very tough denim. Okay, so that is my case for the Speedy. I would say my runner-up bag would be the Palm Springs Mini backpack, because it fits more than you think it's going to fit. I actually use this pocket because, I think it stretches out pretty nicely, like to where I can see stuff and easily get stuff out. And I don't know if that's the same on the monogram version, but it's very soft and squishy in the reverse monogram. So I'd say this is my runner-up suggestion. But the Speedies, and I am a fairly recent convert to the Speedies too. I'm not a OG Speedy fan. I had to be, kind of introduced and educated to the amazingness that is the Speedy. Okay, so let's talk about prices a little bit, because again, I say a lot of people, we start off with the SLGs because of price point, because it's hard to save up this much for your first luxury piece, and it's easy to succumb to the SLG because the price point is so much lower, and so it's more attainable with less time saving. But again, if you don't actually want an SLG, if it doesn't make you excited to have an SLG, right, just wait a little bit longer, because it'd be so worth it if you get the actual thing that you want. These things cost so much money that if you spend the money and it's not the thing that you wanted, and it's not something you absolutely love, it feels awful, right? It feels awful to spend that much money on something that you don't, completely, love and can use. So, okay, so the Speedy B20 in the canvas is currently $2,030. Whew, that's painful, but it's $2,030. And then the Empreinte leather version is $2,520. So it is a $2,500 bag. It was less than that just a few months ago, but that's where we're at. And so that's the price point of this one. So it is quite high, but again, I think it's like the perfect Goldilocks Speedy bag. The 25, so this size, the 25 in the canvas in the B, so the bandoulier with the strap, is $1820. So it's $1,820. So it's less than $2,000 in the price point. And then as you go up in size, so the Speedy B in the canvas, Speedy B 25 in the canvas, as you go up between 25, 30, and 35, it's kind of like when you go to like you go out to eat and you have a choice in size of, you know, like dish or drink, and the small is this much, but the medium's only like 30 cents more, and then the large is like $1 more than the small, but the size difference is enormous. It's like 10 smalls equals a large, and you're like, oh, no brainer, just get the large because of the price point, but you're never going to drink that much or eat that much food. The pricing is kind of like that. So the 25 is $1820, the 30 is $1890. So it's $70 difference between the 25 and the 30. And then the 35 is $1960. So it's $140 difference between the 25 and the 35. And I don't even have a 35 because that thing is like luggage to me. It's monstrous. This denim one, if you can somehow find it, it did retail for $24.10 on the pre-love market. It is much more than that right now, so it's still on the website, so it might still pop up now and then. There might still be one or two floating around out there, so if you can find that, it's $24.10. The Speedy B in the 25 in the Empreinte, so that range is based on which line it is, so it's between like $27 and $2,800. So it's about $1,000 more for the leather version of this size. So it's quite a big difference. Instead of the canvas to leather on the 20 is about $500 difference instead of $1,000 difference. Okay, and then the knot bandoulier. So if you don't care for this strap, so when you take off the strap, it does have, you know, the little kind of hardware there on the side. So if you don't like that look to it, and if you're a purist, if you're a pure classic, you know, lover, then you might not enjoy having that hardware there, then this 25 size in the OG is $14.90. So just to have the strap added is about 300, and oh my god, can I do fast math? Is $330. So you kind of get this strap plus this hardware added for $330. The thing that you could do is if you end up with the knot bandoulier, so you have the OG, is that you can get yourself any kind of strap and you can hook it on to this hardware here on the handle. So you would just kind of, if I use the same strap, it would be here like this and like this, and I've just seen this done before, so I'm just showing you what people have done to kind of turn this into a crossbody bag. So it's not wide on the sides, it's more narrow, but I mean, it does the job. It's still functional, it still does the job. So if you think that you want the OG and then it's like $330 more for the bandoulier, and you can just, you know, figure out the strap situation for like less than $100, then you do save money overall and you get the look that you want. Yeah. So the OG Speedy in the 25, $14.90. Then the 30 size is $15.50, so $60 difference. And then the 35 is $16.20, so that went up $70. So 30 to 35 is $70. And then 35 to 40, I've seen the 40 one time, and that's luggage. It's basically a keep all at that point. It's $16.90, so it's another $70. So they go up by $60 to $70 each size. So once you make the decision to get the Speedy and you're ready to invest that much money into your bag, then almost all the sizes are just open to you because the differences in between them are so small compared to the total amount of the bag. Yeah, well, that's my case for the Speedy and starting your Louis Vuitton bag collection off with a bag purchase instead of an SLG, right? So if this is going to make you totally happy, if this is what you can afford, because there's no shame in that, then go for the SLG, right? But if you don't actually want the SLG, then wait for the bag. Wait for that moment where you can have this, or some whatever bag you want, right? Start off with whatever makes you happy, because again, there's like, it's just so sad and such a terrible feeling to feel like you wasted your hard-earned money, and you made a mistake because, as so many people say, money doesn't grow on trees, even though I argue that it kind of does since it's mostly made out of cotton. But you know what I mean, right? It's just, we spend so much hours of our lives at work instead of, with family and putting love out there into the world and, nurturing ourselves. We spend so much time doing work. And so that's why I think it feels not well just to like kind of spend something so much and then not enjoy it, or discover you made a mistake and that you should have waited or purchased something else, because it's wasted time that we don't get back, right? Okay guys, sorry, that's my little soap speech for the day. I hope you like this one. There's a third one that I filmed earlier, and it's about what if you can't decide between a bag and an SLG. So that one's coming up next. Okay guys, take care.